This is macOS Ken.
Price target shoots skyward. A strange story around Grindr in China. And how many challenge awards can one Apple Watch hold? It is Tuesday, the 1st of February, 2022. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from macOS Ken, brought to you by yours truly and sponsored by Notion. One workspace for your whole team. Learn more and get started for free at notion.so. This show is also supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macOSCan. So many price targets on Apple have gone higher since last Thursday. That is, of course, when Apple reported record revenue for the December quarter and said it expects record revenue for the current quarter, too. It was that 1-2 combo that got Morgan Stanley analyst Katie Huberty to get out her step stool, or whatever one uses to raise a target. Apple 3.0 ran part of a note she wrote. In fact, unless otherwise stated, these will all be from Apple 3.0. Huberty says she and hers were expecting revenue, gross margin, and earnings per share higher than consensus, and Apple beat even her expectations. When coupled with a stronger than anticipated March quarter guide, wrote the Hube, the results illustrate the strength and stability of Apple's product and services ecosystem. A piece from Apple Insider had the analyst keeping the Cupertino Company's shares as a Morgan Stanley top pick for 2022. Huberty has an overweight rating on Apple shares. After last week's earnings report, she raised her price target on the shares from $200 to $210. Despite the current quarter's solid but decelerating revenue growth signaled by Apple, Raymond James analyst Chris Casso says the company is still expecting more than were he and other analysts. He expects iPhone to keep growing over the next year, and that will pay dividends for services growth. He's also excited about whatever Apple has planned for virtual reality, though he's not sure that's going to happen in 2022. Casso has an outperform rating on Apple shares. He upped his price target on the shares from $185 to $190. Oppenheimer analyst Martin Yang is also turned on by Apple's large and growing number of customers. Notably read his note, Apple is still gaining new customers at impressive pace, with 6 out of 10 MacBook buyers in China, half of the iPad owners, and 2/3 of Apple Watch buyers new to the devices. Those new users will likely purchase more devices in the Apple ecosystem and contribute sustainable growth to Apple's active installed base. He's got an outperform rating on Apple shares. He raised his price target on the shares from $170 to $190. Cowen and Company analyst Krish Sankar grooved and continues to groove on Apple's ability to deliver despite supply constraints, iPad not included last quarter. A piece from Apple Insider has Sankar writing, shortages have yet to fully abate. Still, Apple's solid supply chain execution is able to deliver near-term upside in hardware shipments. Coupled with better-than-expected services growth and margins, we think Apple effectively delivered a beat and raise relative to market sentiment. Sankar has an outperform rating on Apple shares. He raised Cowen's price target on the shares from $180 to $200. BofA analyst Wamsi Mohan thinks investors will keep buying Apple shares thanks to its predictable cash flow. Customers are also buying at the high end of Apple's product range. He's got a buy rating on Apple shares. He raised his price target on the shares from $210 to $215. Goldman Sachs analyst Rod Hall stayed neutral on Apple shares, though he raised his price target on them. It was $142. It is now a still soggy $161. Same goes for Barclays analyst Tim Long. He stayed with an equal weight rating on the shares and raised his price target from $145 to a still soggy $169. UBS analyst David Vogt kept his buy rating on Apple shares and raised his target from $175 to $185. Monness Crespi's Brian White kept his buy rating on the shares and upped the target from $184 to $199. D.A. Davidson's Tom Ford kept his buy rating on the shares and raised his target from 170 to 185. R.W. Baird analyst William Power stuck with his outperform rating and raised his target from 185 to 190. Canaccord Genuity analyst T. Michael Walkley went on with his big bad buy rating on Apple shares. He upped his target from $185 to $200. And Deutsche Bank analyst Sidney Ho kept his buy rating on Apple shares. He upped his target from $200 to what looks to be a street high target of $220. The LGBTQ dating app Grindr is out of the App Store in China. And believe it or not, it wasn't Apple that gave it the boot. 9to5Mac highlights a Bloomberg report that says Grindr's removal comes as China kicks off fresh efforts to regulate internet content ahead of the Beijing Winter Olympics. The Cyberspace Administration of China last week announced a month-long campaign to crack down on online rumors, pornography, and illegal content. Some Grindr users in China reported connectivity issues over the past few weeks, including the inability to send and receive messages or add likes, while many assume that Apple had once again done the bidding of the Chinese government and removed the app from the App Store. Secret sources tell 9to5Mac that Apple had nothing to do with the app's removal. Rather, the piece says it was Grindr's parent company that made the move. The app is also said to be out of the Android app stores in China, run by companies like Tencent and Huawei. So far, no one involved seems to have commented publicly on the app's disappearance in China. There seems to be a problem with Apple Wallet for some Apple device users. iMore says some users running last week's public releases of iOS 15.3 and watchOS 8.4 are falling out of sync. According to the report, a number of people are experiencing sync issues for cards added to their iPhones. They aren't always appearing on their Apple Watch after updating to the latest version of iOS and watchOS. The issue isn't big in terms of number of people affected, though for people affected, it's big enough to complain about. The piece points to one such complaint on Reddit, with that person saying, iPhone 12 and Apple Watch Series 3, no coupons or membership cards added to the iPhone have successfully been synced to the Apple Watch since I updated to 8.4 and 15.3. Interestingly enough, the Redditor continues, removing a card from the iPhone does not seem to sync to the watch either, but removing a card that exists on both devices on the watch successfully syncs to the iPhone. With so many variables, it is hard to say which element is gumming up the works. Apple is said to be looking into the issue. So far, it has not offered a time frame for a fix. Unlisted apps are on the way to the App Store. Not that you'll ever see them. Unlisted apps are exactly what they sound like. Apps that should be undiscoverable in the App Store. But they're there. iDownload blog explains, saying such apps are not for the general public, but will generally be distributed by administrators through Apple's Business Manager or School Manager. Support for such is new, according to iDownload blog. It has Apple explaining to developers, your app may qualify for unlisted App Store distribution if it's designed for a limited audience. Examples include apps for employees, apps for specific events, sales apps, or research apps. Unlisted apps are distributed using a direct link to the app's product page on the App Store, but they do not appear in App Store categories, search results, or other App Store listings. You may have caught the part where Apple said an app may qualify for unlisted status. To publish an unlisted app on the App Store, iDownload blog says developers must submit a request to Apple. More information is available on Apple's site. More news in a moment, but first a word from Notion. One workspace for your whole team. With hybrid work becoming, well, just the way people work these days, the strongest teams have two things in common: speed and alignment. Both come from having one hub where everyone can share their work, the way they work, manage projects, and collaborate with clarity. Notion can be that one space for you. For companies of all sizes, Notion provides one central and customizable workspace that can be tailored to fit any team and bring all teams together to get more done and move faster. Trusted by teams at Corner Shop, Headspace, Pixar, and more, you should find out how Notion may be the missing piece your team needs to grow, get more done, and make everybody happy in the process. Learn more and get started for free at notion.so. You can check it out on your own and invite as many folks as you want to see how it works. Take the first step toward an organized, happy team today, again, at notion.so. I really wish I didn't know about this. A piece from Apple Insider says BlackBerry has sold a collection of legacy patents covering mobile technologies for $600 million. Who's the buyer? It's Catapult IP Innovations, a non-practicing entity that was formed to acquire the BlackBerry patent assets. Trolls. They're likely patent trolls willing to spend over $500 million for intellectual property over which they can sue. Since there's an expected return on investment, says Apple Insider, it is likely that the patents will be used to encourage royalty payments from device producers, potentially through lawsuits. The sale still has to pass regulatory approval, according to the report. Apple TV Plus is continuing its push with the kids. The Cupertino streamer issued a press release Monday announcing the animated series Pretzel and the Puppies. According to the release, the 8 episodes follow Pretzel, Greta, and the puppies in their hometown of Montgomery. They are a modern and unique family who are always sniffing out ways to make their bark and make the world a better place for their 4-legged friends and neighbors. Pretzel and Greta encourage their pups to try to solve their own problems, often reminding them to get those paws up when they face a challenge. Okay, that makes it sound like they're encouraging them to fight, which I seriously doubt is the case. The series features the voice work of the morning show actor Mark Duplass and Saturday Night Live's Nassim Pedrad, based on characters created by Curious George authors Margaret and H.A. Ray. Pretzel and the Puppies hits Apple TV Plus on Friday, the 11th of February. You can catch a trailer for the show now on YouTube. If you like to keep up with the Apple Watch activity challenges, you have a lot to keep up with this month. I told you last week about February's Unity Challenge and the Lunar New Year Challenge. The Lunar New Year Challenge is pretty easy. Sometime between now and the 15th of February, you just need to do any workout for at least 20 minutes to earn the super slick Year of the Tiger virtual medallion. The Unity Challenge is a bit more challenging. It requires participants to close their Move ring for 7 consecutive days in the month of February. Do that and you will earn animated stickers for messages and another of those sweet, sweet imaginary medals. Now, news of yet another Apple Watch activity challenge for February. That is 3 for the shortest month of the year. Apple issued a press release Monday announcing initiatives to promote heart health for Heart Month, which starts today. To get the obligatory stickers and medal minus the medal, users have to fill their exercise ring with 30 minutes of activity, and it has to be on the 14th of February. Dude, I got a date that night. Much like the Cupertino Company's Black History Month foci, Apple is using more than one channel to mark Heart Month. In addition to the activity challenge, the release says Fitness Plus will feature a special section of 30-minute energizing workouts that will motivate users to get their weekly minutes of exercise. Well, anyway, it's supposed to. Apple says it's offering extra savings in select countries for people trading an older Apple Watch in for a newer one, if you want to replace those rusty rings with shiny ones. The App Store will feature apps with cardiovascular health in mind, providing valuable insights into a user's heart rate and activity levels. Apple Books will feature a collection of titles that focus on heart health, including books on heart science, emotional well-being, and healthy eating. And the Apple TV app is featuring a collection of movies and shows on heart disease, heart science, and healthy living. Ditto Apple Podcasts. The company also touched on initial findings from the heart study it's been running in conjunction with Brigham and Women's Hospital and the American Heart Association. You can scope some of the early data in Apple's press release. And finally today, neat stuff on Apple's site in China on Monday to mark the Lunar New Year. 9to5Mac wrote up some of the goings-on, including the bouncy, fun, cartoon Year of the Tiger Tigers. When one scrolled around the company's China site, little cartoon tiger heads would appear, bounce around briefly, then slip off the screen. It was cute. On the more immersive side, 9to5Mac says Apple posted a 23-minute shot on iPhone film on YouTube called The Comeback. Apple's description encourages viewers to kick off the Year of the Tiger with the story of a father, a son, and a forgotten village with an out-of-this-world dream. The piece says there is a short behind-the-scenes video posted to YouTube as well. And finally, would it be a thing without things to buy? As mentioned last month, Apple has special Year of the Tiger AirPods available. Those come in a case with a stylized tiger emoji engraved on it. The special pair also includes 12 envelopes, each featuring one of the Chinese zodiac animal signs depicted in emoji form. As for the AirPods themselves, they're standard AirPods. And Apple subsidiary Beats is also in the mix with a pair of commemorative Beats Studio Buds. We heard about these last month as well. The Year of the Tiger Beats Studio Buds feature a red case with a white Beats logo per usual, and gold tiger stripes on the case and the earbuds themselves, which is kind of snazzy. The units are available through the Beats by Dre website in China. macOS Ken, brought to you by me and sponsored by Notion. One workspace for your whole team. Learn more and get started for free at notion.so. This show is also supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macOSKen. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media, online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. info@macosken.com or call 716-780-4080. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Ciao.